a round of applause. Amen, amen. Good morning, everyone. Step back. Okay. All right. So my assignment is to talk about fix and flipping. And, that's probably the sexiest thing if people watch HGTV and all that. Hey, but I want to be fix and flip. Well, that's a 30-minute TV show. Let me help you. Let's start with that. And it's somewhat entertaining, but it's gets you sort of your appetite whet a little bit to do that. And so, but let me talk to you more so about what I think is more important. And I think the most important thing about you being here today is that you have to decide that you're going to be wealthy. Amen. And according to what LaRick just talked about, most people never make that decision. And I encourage people that the time has gone by where you can be willy-nilly on that, where you can, I'll do a little something, I'll be all right. Now, that ship has sailed. You have to decide, number one, I'm going to be wealthy. Now, how many of y'all want to make that decision this morning? Like I ain't in church, that's tomorrow. So ain't gonna be no altar call, and ain't laying hands on nobody. We ain't doing none of that. That's tomorrow. So here we talk about here to get you paid. Hey man, you can clap on that. Yeah. Well, I'm here to get you paid. But it starts with you, first of all, making a decision that you want to be wealthy. I was talking to one of the brothers outside, and he was saying, he said, Dexter, should I buy a house? And my question to him was, why not? And I said, the biggest mistake most people make is that they never decide they're going to be wealthy. Because once you make a decision, everything else falls in place. Now, that doesn't mean you won't have hard times, you won't have trouble. That's just life. But once you make the decision, this is what I'm going to do, things begin to fall in place for you. Got that? So that's the first decision you got to make. Oh, I do have my slide. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I know it was up there. All right. So the first decision is what? Say that I'm going to be wealthy. You got to make that first before you do anything else. Because everything we're talking about right now is just strategies. Brooke just told you, fix and flip, that's a strategy. No buying, that's a strategy. Somebody else we talking about, I think Airbnb, those are strategies. And your strategy will change from just depending on where you're at the time. Sometimes you feel like fix and flip, sometimes you feel like wholesale, and sometimes you feel like nobody, it just depends. And in reality, based off of how good you become at this, your strategy may change from situation to situation. Got it? But it starts with a decision to be what? Wealthy. Now, you have to define what that is for you. It's not a one-size-fit-all type of deal where I say wealthy and you think one thing. So some people think a Lambo and a big house and all that. That ain't my definition of wealth, but for somebody person, that might be. Just depends. So you got to define that. But then the second thing up here you got to recognize is this. You're going to use real estate as what? Two decisions you got to make today. Number one, I'm going to be what? Number two, I'm using real estate as a wealth creation tool. Now, I'm doing a conference, actually, next Saturday, this time, I'm doing a conference, very much similar to this, and we're calling it the Wealth Creation Summit. So if you want to fly to Boston next week, holler at me. We got tickets left. Well, it's only, this is an hour and a half flight from Detroit to Boston. I don't know what it is from Cleveland because we got some Cleveland folk here. But if you're interested in that, my son is back there at our table, holler at me. But anyway, the reason why I'm saying you should use real estate as a wealth creation tool, because in my opinion, it's the lowest hanging fruit on the wealth creation tree. Now, many of us are familiar with that term, low-hanging fruit. I don't want to be a something. See, low-hanging fruit means you ain't got to do what? You just reach your arm up there and it's there. That's why it's called what? Low-hanging. Now think about this. How many people have become wealthy, or I'll ask this question. How many homeowners do we have in here today? Okay, a good majority of you. Did your property appreciate in value over the last 2 to 3 years? Right? What did you do to make that happen? Nothing. You just did what? You lived in it. You had breakfast, had lunch, raised your kids. You did life, and your property value did what? It went up. So that means your net worth went up without you doing what? Anything. So now you're at an expo to learn how to do things on purpose so you become wealthy. So I tell people, listen, it's the lowest hanging fruit on the wealth creation tree because you got to get serious about you building wealth. Now this is a pastor, this is a pastor talking to you. Because that's my full-time gig. That's what I do. I've been pastoring since 2012. We've been doing real estate since like 2017. So that's something. So this is what we do when I ain't in the pulpit. But listen, it's the lowest hanging fruit on the wealth creation tree. Get that in your thinking. Now, there are many ways you can make wealth through real estate. Now, my whole conference next week is on that. The different ways that you can do it. Some going to be fix and flip, some going to be buy and hold, some going to be agents, some going to be lending, which I like the best. But the best, get your money out there and it brings you back some interest. Cool. I ain't got to deal with a contractor. I ain't got to talk to nobody. The money just comes in, and I'm cool with that. Got it? But since my topic is fix and flipping, let me give you my perspective on how to become successful fix and flip it. Next slide. Now, my son and I came in here to the city yesterday afternoon, and when I go into any city, I like to sort of ride through the city. I get in the car and just let the car drive and tell me where to go. So we came downtown because I wanted to see what the venue was, number one, and then number two, I just decided, Kiara, just to ride. So I'm downtown as I'm riding past the Detroit Lions Stadium and the baseball field, and as I keep going, guess what I find? Now this slide is sort of upside down, so you really can't see it, but this is in your city. I'm not even from here. And I found these. Just driving through. So you got one because it's all crazy, so you really can't see. But anyway, one is one of them is you got to sort of be like this to get that one right. But take my word for it, they ugly. They ugly, you know. And one was fire. I think two of them were fires. Others were boarded up and all that. And see, what people see as ugly, I see as opportunity. Say that. What others see as ugly, you see as opportunity. If you want to become wealthy, you have to see what other people don't see. Y'all ain't feeling me this morning. You got to see what other people don't see. And not be intimidated by it. I was telling Pam when I first got here, I see a lot of times because you lived here, you're too close to it. You're too close. And I'm like, dude, I'm just driving the street. I'm like, wow, look at this, look at this, look at this. I stopped, I pulled out. Now, I ain't from around here, so I don't know the hoods or nothing. But I got out, took some quick pictures and got back in my car. Just in case I was someplace you ain't supposed to be. See, I grew up, I'm originally from New Haven, Connecticut. And I know about hoods. And there's certain hoods you ain't supposed to be in. And so I took the picture right quick and moved. But listen, these are all, we were only out there like 15 minutes, that's about exaggeration, about a half hour, and I found these houses, about 6, 7, in the same neighborhood. So they're out there. Now, how do you fix and flip? Asking that question. Come on now, this is class participation. Come on now, there you go. Now, this is just my process. My wife and I have done, I think, 5 or 6 flips. We're in a process right now of, most of my experience this year has been through consulting. So we're consulting on one where it's a 7-unit in Boston, which will be worth, when we're done with it, about $7 million. Y'all like that number? Ooh. $7 million. Consulting on another one that when we're done with it, that'll be worth about $1 million. And then the other one where project managing is it'll be worth about $600,000 when we're done with that. So we're in the middle of those three right now. But Boston is a higher market. That's why I'm here to check out. I may need to come out here and be with y'all. Got it? Now, 4 steps to fix and flip success. And I'm actually going to turn this into a book, I think, Pam. Number 1, you got to find an undervalued property. Undervalued properties are also homes that need some love. That's what you're looking for when you're fixing and flipping. You're looking for not the one that's on HGTV, not the one that's on Redfin, not the one that's on Zillow. You're looking for the one that needs some what? You're looking for houses that need some love. Money is in the houses that need love. Got it? Then you got to be willing to do what? Run to what others run from. So I'm walking through houses that smell like cat pee. See, y'all like, oh, see, people who in the business, they like, ching, ling, 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 ling. See, I ain't smelling cat pee. I'm like, money, 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 money. See, you smelling cat pee. I'm smelling money, money, money. So you got to be willing to do what? Run to. It's bad. I've been to the house I was in 2 summers ago. I walked in. I was like, what in the heck is that smell? It was a dead cat. Now, it's 90 degrees with a dead cat smell in there. So y'all face the television, you can imagine what it smelled like. But the money is in finding what other people run from. Now, now that's an extreme case. Most of the time, I walk in houses, they're just very dated. It got grandma's wallpaper on it, or pink tile, or whatever else. Those are easy fixes. That ain't, matter of fact, that's easy to do. That's just paint, do a little something, and you good to go. But still, you gotta find value where other people don't. Because most people don't want to do the work. They want to buy it when they can walk in and just live in it, and that's fine. Well, so that makes it a business opportunity for you and I, because we find value and then bring undervalued properties and bring them up to value. Make sense? That's number 1. The number 2, you got to buy the property what? Correctly. So questions asked. Number 1, what can I buy it for? That's the first question. So I got to get a sense of whether, now I'm not talking about how I find it. Randy's a wholesaler around here. I'm actually a licensed realtor myself. So you have a lot of ways you can find them. So that's not my topic. But what you got to do is you got to ask, number 1, how much or what can I buy it for? Got it? The number 2 is, how much is it going to cost me to fix this thing up? $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. I mean, our adrenaline rehabs are usually somewhere between $80,000 to $100,000. Now that's just in my area, because Boston is a higher price point. For you, it may be $30,000. See, real estate is local. Say local. Local real estate is local. So I'm giving you an overview of what I do in my area. Now your area of rehab may be 30 grand. So how much can I fix it for? The numbers, now number 2, B, how much is going to fix it, how much it's going to cost me to fix it, and then C is, what is my expected profit, or what is my ARV? So once I fix it up, how much can I expect to make on the other end? So I try to aim for at least a minimum of $50,000 every flip. Now, are you going to make $50,000 every flip? Say the answer, say no. Could you lose money? Say yes. But what did I say you first had to do? Ting-ling-ling-ling-ling. Your decision to become wealthy comes first, because that's going to pull you through dealing with contractors. I'm in the middle of one right now. I was telling Randy earlier, I said my contractor died during the middle of the flip. Now, I've never had that happen. I talked to him on Monday. He was dead on Thursday. Horrible. 53 years old, massive heart attack. We're in the middle of that was the project I said that we're in the middle of that will be worth $7 million when I'm done. I got a $7 million project to finish. So not to sound cold and all that, so we're working through what we need to do in order to get to where we need to get. So we'll get that done. But see, my decision to be wealthy comes first, because I can push through hardships to do what I need to do. because it takes courage to become wealthy. It's courage. See, the reason why many of us have not made a decision to become wealthy is because of this. You have been conditioned not to. You've been conditioned by your churches, and I'm a pastor. And we talk about what's going on at church. So I know that quite well. So we've been trained not to be wealthy in church. We've been trained by our society, be middle class. Listen, you can't afford to be middle class right now. You got to be excellent now, baby. It's not going to work anymore. You've got to be excellent. So that's why I got to teach you that first before I talk to you about this. Make sense? Now, what's my expected profit? C is, how much time is it going to take? Now, we usually say 6 months, but nowadays it's been a lot longer. Brooke talked about it. Contractors say, hey, it's going to be 3 weeks. 3 weeks is never 3 weeks. 3 weeks is 6 weeks. I had a guy talk to me the other day. He said, Dexter, we'll be done in 30 days. I said, come on, man, it's 60. We can be straight one of the care. It ain't going to be 30 days to do this. This is going to be 60. And 60 mean 90, 90 mean 120. That's just the way it goes. Because it's not always dependent on you. It's dependent a lot on, can I get materials? And then the inspector got to come out and all that. So that's why I said, this is not for the faint of heart. That's why your decision to become wealthy comes first. What do I want to do for me and my family? And that's going to push me through that. Listen, I'll be married 26 years on Wednesday. I'll also be 55 on Wednesday. The pastor, I know I don't look a day with 54, but I'll be 55. Good black, no crack, you know. I would say, good God, good wife, good living helps you look young. But listen, you got to find out how much time that project is going to take, because depending on how long it's going to take me, it may not be worth to do it. I looked at a 4-unit. You guys call it 4. I guess you guys call it 4 flats. Yeah, you call it 4 flats. We call it 4 units. So we looked at the project. My wife and I walked through it, and we decided it would take too long for us to do it, and we walked away from the deal. Because I'd rather be able to get in and do them faster, as opposed. Now, if the payoff is big enough, I'll do it. Then it makes sense. But if I'm going to have my time, money, energy tied up for a year, year and a half, and I'm only making 10 grand, is that worth it? Let me help you. No, it's not. So you begin to look at how much is the project going to take, and then what can I get for rent? Meaning, while I'm flipping, if the market flips on me and switches on me, can I keep it and still make money? Because we just went through a market, right, where it was, you could have sold a shack like a year ago and got over asking. At least in Massachusetts. I don't know, it's the same way here in Detroit. Yeah. Everything was going over 30,000, 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, everything was going over asking for like dumps. Because inventory was low, interest rates were low, and what? People were, I'm waiving inspection. Doing all type of crazy stuff to get in the house. But now, things changed, correct? Interest rates did what? They went up. Inventory's a little higher, but it's still a little low. So if I'm caught in the middle of that, I still got to find, hold up, if this thing flips on me, can I keep it and still make money? Either short-term meaning Airbnb, visiting, I don't know if y'all have visiting nurses here. Visiting nurses, Airbnb, verbal, can I do that? There's other things that people do too. So I'm asking myself all these questions. Number 1, what can I buy for? Number 2, how much is it going to cost me to fix it? 3, what is my expected profit? 4, how much time is it going to take me? And then what can I get for rent if I have to hold on to this sucker? Amen? Now, I'm saying amen. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm used to having the microphone and saying amen. You said to me, I'm sorry. Then number 3 is this. This is big right here. Manage the rehab efficiently. Because the inefficient management of a project will cost you big And this is where I see a lot of people mess up at. They don't manage the project. They let the project manage them. So when I'm talking to a general contractor, I don't know, do you ever get a how to deal with contractor session? I thought that we had something up here on this. But listen, that's a whole class within itself. How to efficiently and effectively deal with contractors. Have mercy. But let me say this to you. The only way you learn how to deal with contractors is by doing what? Dealing with contractors. See, many people run away from that. My theme for this year has been the year of getting started. That's my theme. I've been talking about getting started. If you follow me on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, I'm talking about get started. Because the only mistake that you cannot overcome in real estate is this: the mistake of you not doing anything. You could lose a house, lose money in a project, but too many of us are in this mode of, I'm gonna do it next year, I'm gonna do it next year, I'm gonna do it next year, I'm gonna do it next week, I'm gonna do it next week. And then when I get in people's faces, what'd you do? Well, I'm still, and I'm like, listen, dude, you getting older. None of us are getting younger. Am I right in saying that? But the inefficient management of a project will cost you big money, and then number two, you got to inspect what you expect. I walk my properties once a week minimum. They see me physically. See, because no one will manage your project like you will. Brooke was talking about, somebody, they're about to back up and take your lumber. Well, sometimes it ain't a truck, sometimes it's your contractor taking your stuff. Or there's all this waste they throwing. I'm like, dude, that's a nice door. Why are you throwing that door away? Put that door back in here. You got to manage it. You got to and you got to be a boss. Can't be no, can I talk straight to y'all? I've been talking straight away. You can't be a punk and do this business. You can't be a punk and do this. You got to listen. This is what I expect. This is what we agreed to. And there's going to be a problem if we don't. That's how that goes. Now, if that's not you, fixing and flipping ain't for you. If you too nice, well, I thought about, I'm giving them another chance and all that. Nah, listen, we talking big, I'm talking millions of dollars here. We ain't talking about giving you another chance. Nah, player, we don't play that. No. So you got to do what? Inspect what you expect. And it's not hard, because once you get a good team, because you may have to go through 2 or 3 of them, but once you get a good team in place, you guys have a vibe with one another, now you're flowing. So that might be the hardest part. For me, the hardest part has been finding good deals, but the second part is finding a good team. My contractor who I had for my first couple of flips, he moved to North Carolina. He and his wife moved to North Carolina. I'm like, how dare you? Yeah, right, yeah, I'm like, well, I and this is a couple I actually married too, so I was sort of happy for them they left. Sort of, key word, sort of. I'm like, dang. But what it caused me to do was build a whole new level, a whole new roster of general contractors. I believe in the Noah's Ark theory, never had just one in anything. You need 2 GCs, 2 carpenters, I got a lot more than that, but you need to have a whole bunch. I'm always collecting names and numbers and say, hey, what do you do? I do this, hey, what do you do? And I'm getting their names and numbers because I know they can move to North Carolina, or they could be too busy, or they die. My cousin is a contractor. Well, you better get more than your cousin. Because, dude, anything could happen and you stuck and then you in the middle of your project. Make sense? And then last thing is this, do what? Sell for maximum profit. So number 1 is find undervalued property. 2, buy the property correctly. 3, manage rehab efficiently. And then 4, sell for maximum profit. And then you do what? Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do fix and flips. Because I believe the money is in the money. I want to lend. Because I don't have to go see no contractor. I ain't got to walk no property. I ain't got to do nothing. Just send me as my youngest daughter says to Patrice, just run me my paper. She's 22, like, Dad, just run me my paper. That's I'm like, yeah, Brooke, run me my paper. I ain't got to see you. I ain't got to do nothing. Just send me my money. I'm good. Well, I think I'm trying to think. We were doing 2 flips during COVID. And you know what? The city stopped us from doing work. But guess what I still had to do doing that? The mortgage company like, run me my money. We don't care if it's COVID. Now, they were a little bit understanding. They let you they let us slide a couple. But we were in it for 3 years, pretty much. After a while, they were like, look, man, send me my money. Somebody said, run me my money. They're like, run me my money. So what do you got to do? So I believe, in my opinion, it's on the lending side. Somebody talking about, I think, multi-family. I believe the money is there. But these are just strategies to get you in the door. And once you get in the door, you decide what you like and your age and all that, what you want to do. All right. Now, this is a course I put together probably about over a year ago now. And really what it is I was getting tired of people saying, can I pick your brain? You ever had that conversation? You got a little bit of expertise and everybody want to pick your brain. You know if they want to pick your brain for free? That keep you broke. So what I did was I said, listen, for everything I've learned from up until now, I put into this course. So if you were to say, Dexter, can I sit down and have lunch with you? I'll be like, yeah, buy that and this and that. Now, it's normally $197. I had Sister Kiera, she put something together for me. I call it the Detroit Special. So if you want that, you go to my website and you put Detroit Special and you'll get that for $100. Now, what do you get inside of that? What I put in there is 5 things every new investor must know. So if you're this course is really designed for newer folks. If you were someone with experience, you probably be adding stuff on to. But this is for folk who you ain't flip nothing. And that's the experience of who I'm talking to, because they're intimidated. So I'm trying to give you some confidence on what to do. So 5 things every new investor must know. Then also in that course I put 4 wealth generators, meaning what are some profit centers in there that you'll learn about that. Then I also put what do you want to do, 3 things that every person needs to know as far as make it a legitimate business, because you want to be a legitimate business. Now, you may start off as a sort of we call it side hustle, but there are things you need to do to make it, get your LLC in place and get a banking account, because what I find most people get in trouble is that they're commingling funds and I'm like, dude, you can't run your business like that, man. So I start talking to people about that type of stuff. How to get a real email address. Now, I'm not knocking anybody who does, but, you should have whatever your company name is, .com. It shouldn't be such and such gmail.com. Well, you can do that in the beginning, but for a small fee, you should put, for instance, mine is Dominion Real Estate. So I got Dominion Real Estate, well, that's a long name, DominionREH.com. It's not Dexter B. Jenkins. Well, I do got that too, got a bunch of stuff. But it's not, my real estate is at gmail.com. So, and see, because if you're planning on being what? See, most people, I don't want to do that to make, no. You got to make a decision to be wealthy first. Put those things in place so when opportunity comes your way, you ready. Most people are not ready. So when so opportunity comes your way, guess what happened? They go by you because they don't think you're serious. So if you want that course, like I said, go to my website, Detroit Special, get $100, and then obviously we'll be around here to talk. DexterBJenkins.com. I didn't put that up there. Have mercy. I didn't. I'm sorry, y'all. Go to DexterBJenkins.com, and you go to my services page, and then it's the first thing up on the site, and it'll be a blessing to you. Y'all get something out of my talk? So I'll be around, I think, to talk later on and just hang out with you guys, because I was taking notes from Brooke's stuff, because I want to get involved in some of that note stuff she's talking about. So selfishly, I'm here to learn. I got my notebook because I'm learning. Because there's so many different facets of real estate. You know, and so you should always be in a learning mode. So you may start out with fix and flip, you may start out wholesaling, but you're always trying to learn and add things onto your repertoire, so to speak. All right?